Hello and welcome to the CAMHS post-diagnosis webinar. My name is Julie Bauman and I'm a parent peer support worker within the neuro assessment team. I have a daughter myself who has had an ADHD and an autism diagnosis, so I know how worrying and overwhelming it can be once you've had that diagnosis. This webinar will provide you with lots of support and guidance and go through what resources that we can offer to you now that you've had that diagnosis. We offer 4 tiers of support. The first one is the AES 10-week parent workshop. AES also offer parents a free portal. We have a parent support group facilitated by Walking With You. And we have some really comprehensive resource booklets. The AES workshop is run by an organisation called Autism Early Support. The name is a little bit misleading because it does also cover ADHD. There is flexibility with this 10-week course in that it does offer a daytime or an evening session, and it's delivered online and run by a team of expert professionals such as speech and language therapists, special educational need teachers, occupational therapists. They run 4 universal core workshops, and I recommend all parents attend those. And what they cover is an introduction to neurodivergence. They cover emotional regulation and behaviours, understanding sensory processing, and the last universal workshop is understanding communication and interaction. They also run some targeted workshops. Now you're going to choose which workshops suit you and your young person's needs. Not all of them are going to be relevant for you. So they cover strategies to support sensory and emotional needs, supporting your child with sleep, supporting communication and interaction, and also tackling school attendance and avoidance. I've attended these workshops myself, and what I really loved about them was how interactive they were, and that's not something that I've ever come across in a workshop before. Every week you'll go into lots of different breakout rooms with other parents and moderators, and it just gave me a better understanding, and I took so much more away from it because of that. What I also found different about these workshops was at the end of every session you also have the opportunity to do a question and answer session, and that's not something I'd ever come across before. So these workshops really gave me the opportunity to build up a profile of my child and their needs. So I'd really recommend it. If at the end of those 8 weeks you are still struggling and you still need that little bit more support, there is also the opportunity to have a one-on-one telephone call with one of the professionals. And last but not least, you've got the parent portal which AES offer. And that is now free to all families living in Buckinghamshire. I will include the information letter and a link to register for it. If you don't have capacity at the moment to attend the next course, don't worry, because it does roll over throughout the year, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to sign up to another cycle if this one is just not the right time. The Parents Portal, which is also facilitated by Autism Early Support. There used to be a cost attached to this, but they've now made it free to all families living in Buckinghamshire. So what I will do is I'll send you out a link to register so that you can prove that you live in Bucks, and then you'll be able to access loads of resources. They offer lots of support on this portal. You have mini webinars, you have little workshops that you can attend, they have a monthly parent support group, and really you can access so much to help you and your young person. What I really liked is it's really visual and it's really easy to use, and every month you'll also get a little monthly update on what podcasts and what talks are taking place for that month. So the parents portal I can highly recommend, and as I said, I will send you that link out to register for it. Walking With You is a parent-led support group facilitated by CAMHS. They meet online monthly, and it's just a really nice space to connect and talk to other parents who understand some of the challenges and the difficulties that you may be going through. I don't know about you, but I found it incredibly isolating, and just having people to talk to who do understand, they know what you're going through. I just found it really empowering. And what I also love about these meetings is that they also have a professional turn up each month that can talk about a specific area and a different topic. Some of the things that have been covered in previous months is one month we had the director for SEND turn up for a Q&A session. As you can imagine, he was bombarded with questions and it was just absolutely amazing. And all the parents took away loads of things from that month. We've had the mental health support team do a presentation around anxiety. We've had discussions around social prescribing, bullying, information around autism and ADHD, getting a better understanding around that. So we have covered some really interesting topics in the past. What I can do with this webinar, I will also send out the next 3 months topics from the Walking With You group, so you know what's coming up. If you are interested in attending any of those sessions, if you would like to contact Roxy, who is our participation lead, she will be able to send out all the information and all the links for you. If there are some sessions that you would have liked to have attended but are working or don't have capacity to attend, if you contact Roxy, what she can do is she can send you out all of the PowerPoints, all of the resources and all of the information from those sessions that you're interested in but haven't been able to attend. So that's our Walking With You parent-led support group. When your young person got their diagnosis, you should have been sent some resource booklets. We have a resource booklet on ADHD and we also have a resource booklet on autism, and they are really comprehensive booklets. They cover a lot of areas. They provide resources, strategies, support groups. If you haven't received those resource booklets for any reason, I have provided my email at the end of this webinar. Please get in contact with me and I will email out that resource book or booklets to you as soon as possible. I did want to include a little bit around school support, because I know that there are some schools out there who aren't making reasonable adjustments to meet your child's needs. You know, they do have a legal duty of care to provide that for you. And this is where differences become difficulties when the environment isn't right. And it's little things, you know, having a visual timetable, regular movement breaks throughout the day, you know, having a space to work outside of the main classroom if your young person gets distracted and dysregulated very easy can make such a difference. Most schools now facilitate interventions around emotional regulation and anxiety. So I would definitely look at speaking to your school to see whether they are already running those type of interventions and whether your young person will be suitable. You may or may not have an educational healthcare plan, which is EHCP for short. This is done on your child's needs and not a diagnosis. So you may have that diagnosis, but if school are already meeting the needs and putting in adjustments, then an EHCP plan may not be needed. However, if school aren't meeting your young person's needs, then that plan can help school to apply for high block funding. It may be able to pay for one-on-one support. Specialised learning outside of a school environment, for example, forest school learning or animal antics. If you feel that a mainstream school is not the setting for your young person and they would benefit being more of a specialised school, then you have to have an EHCP plan for that. So a high proportion of schools within BUCS are partnered up with a mental health support team. They are a pathway within CAMHS, and what they can do is they can come into a school and work with a young person between 6 and 8 sessions, and they can help around low mood and anxiety. They use low intensity CBT, which stands for cognitive behavioural therapy. However, we cannot refer for this service. This has to be referred through school. So again, if you feel that this is something that is going to benefit your young person, speak to the SENCO within school to get that referral put through. Now that you have your diagnosis, you are also entitled to your extra time with your exams. So speak to the school to see whether they facilitated that for you. It is currently 25%, and it has made a huge difference for my daughter having that extra time for her GCSE and her A levels. For some of your young people, they may not be able to attend school. They may have emotionally based school avoidance, or their attendance may be very low because they have a lot of anxiety and they find it very overwhelming. Bucks County Council have a lot of support and advice around this. I have included the link for you. And another website that I can recommend is a parent-led group called notfineinschool.co.uk. They have a members group with something like 60,000 members, and it's just a really nice space to get advice and support from other parents who understand what you are going through. If, despite speaking to school, they are not putting into place any reasonable adjustments, they are not supporting your young person, then IPSIA is an independent organisation who know all about special educational needs law. CENDIAS are part of the Bucks County Council. They do a very similar thing. They will help you hold school accountable. They will be able to advise you about the legalities of what school have to provide, what they should be putting into place, and they can actually help to support you in tribunals. They are a wealth of knowledge and are really good at supporting and advising around those difficulties with special educational needs law. So that is all the school support. You may be entitled to Disability Living Allowance, which is DLA for short, for under 16s, or Personal Independent Payment, PIP for short, for if your young person is 16 years and over. I've provided the phone lines. If you want to apply for a paper application, I would advise calling as close to the times that they open. DLA open at 9 AM, PIP open at 8 AM, and you'll be able to speak to an advisor and they'll be able to send you a paper application through post. You can also apply online. Obviously, it's personal preference of what works best for you. They will not base your application on your young person's diagnosis. It will be done on need. How does your child function and how much support do they need compared to a peer of the same age? If your child is of an age and they're considering university, you will be able to apply for disabled student allowance. And what that funding will do is that will help to fund laptops. They may be able to get a one-on-one mentor. So it's really worth applying if that's something that your young person is looking at doing. I've included the link there for you. These are some of the questions that they're going to ask you on your application form. Now, as I've explained earlier, it's not done on your young person's diagnosis. It is done on their function compared to a peer of the same age, and it needs to impact them for 4+ days in a row. Can they prepare their own food? For example, would they be able to make themselves a sandwich on their own, or would they need support with that? Do they need constant reminders to get into the shower? And once they're in, can you get them out? Do they need a lot of prompting to come out of the shower? Do you need to lay their clothes out for them in the morning? Would they need support around dressing? My daughter used to have her ADHD medication with her breakfast in the morning, and when I came to wash up the plates, I used to notice that the medication would still be left on the plate because she'd forget to take it. So now what I have to do is I have to physically hand her the medication so that I know that she hasn't forgotten. Does your young person have anxiety? Do they get overwhelmed very easily? Can they engage with people face to face? So these are some of the things that they're going to ask, and they're going to need as much information as possible around them. So the more detail you can give, the better. There are 3 levels of award that they give. They will either give you the low rate, the medium rate, or the high rate, or they will let you know the reasons for why you've not met criteria to be awarded the DLA or the PIP. I have included my email address, so please reach out if you have any questions or you need any advice around anything. I have a lot of resources that I can send you around emotional regulation, on-demand avoidance or anxiety. So the only thing that I'll require from you is your child's name and their date of birth to make them age appropriate. If you have any concerns around safeguarding or risk, or there's been a significant escalation in behaviour, please contact our single point of access team. They will be able to triage you to another pathway within CAMHS that specifically support around mental health difficulties or safeguarding issues. I have also included a QR code, and we'd be really grateful if you could provide any feedback. We can't improve our services without that feedback. I hope that you found this webinar of benefit, and it's given you some idea of the resource and the support that we can offer now you've had that diagnosis. Thank you very much.